Degrees are no longer a reliable proxy for what workforce readiness looks like, and earnings data is being used because it's one of the few measurable signals for policymakers to make the decisions. Parents, would you invest tens of thousands of dollars without checking the return? Or are we doing that with college? Students, what if the degree you've been pursuing for all this time does not unlock the job that you've been promised? Educators, what does it say when the government starts putting warning labels on the programs that you've been recommending for years? And for everyone else out there, when did go to college and you'll be fine quietly stop being true? You have now joined the education evolution, and you're listening to Tech Evolution. This is a podcast for the thinkers, the doers, and those who know the most important lessons aren't always taught in school. Whether this is your first time tuning in or your 100th, welcome. I'm really glad you're here. I'm your host, Mr. Jihad, and this space is all about the intersection of technology and learning, because technology keeps evolving, whether we want it to or not, and so should the way that we learn, work, and grow. But before we jump in, I have a quick moment of transparency, because our goal is to reach 500 subscribers before the year is up. And so if this show helps you in any way, shape, or form think differently about education or the future of work, subscribing is one of the easiest ways to support the conversation and help it reach more people. So let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Today's topic is one of those shifts that has quietly reached everyone. You may not have seen it go viral, but it directly impacts the American education system. Some of y'all may know it as FAFSA, but it's actually FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. No shade. So FAFSA recently announced that it will begin adding warning labels to certain college programs where graduates consistently earn less than someone with only a high school diploma. The goal is simple: to give students and families clear information about potential financial outcomes before they take on that federal student loan debt. So at this point, some of y'all are probably, especially the students and the parents, are probably like, okay, Jihad, like, what does this actually mean for me? Here's the simple version. As a student, after they submit their application, their FAFSA application, the system is going to send like a warning message for certain programs. And so that warning is based on past earnings and debt data from graduates of those programs. And if most graduates from a program earn less than someone with only a high school diploma, FAFSA will flag it before you accept federal loans. And so it's not really to stop you or not even to really even judge your choice, but it's to make sure that you're walking in with an open mind about what's about to happen, what those student loans are about to look like, and what comes out the other end of the funnel after you graduate. And so for students, this means getting the information before the debt becomes real. And for parents, it means that you are getting the information that you need before you sign that name on the dotted line for a Parent Plus loan. And for educators, it means that the program outcomes are being placed front and center. And so this is a big shift from my perspective, and I'm excited to jump in about what this means for the future of education. So we can't start to talk about the future of education without understanding the facts. Better yet, how did we even get here to begin with? And so I want to ground us in 5 key facts that are going to let us know like what's going on. So nearly 23% of college programs will fall into this warning label category. The second fact is Americans currently hold $1.814 trillion in student loan debt, and it makes up the largest non-mortgage debt category in U.S. history. Next, we got, since 1980, the cost of college has increased by about 169%, while wages for young workers has only increased by about 19%. The math ain't mathin', I know. More than half of college graduates work in jobs unrelated to the major. I'm definitely in that statistic. And 65% of today's students are expected to work in jobs that do not even exist yet. And this is so interesting to me, and I'm eager to know what the people are going to be doing for work. And so at the same time, with all of this that's been evolving in the education system, the Department of Education is currently under active political scrutiny with conversations around restructuring or even abolition underway. And so taking together all of these facts, we are in an environment in which students, families, and educators are trying to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And I think it's just important for us to be grounded in that data before we jump in. Now, here's my favorite part of the episode. What is my perspective, and what are these facts signaling with the complement of this warning label system? And so here's how I interpret what we're seeing. First, what the FAFSA, warning labels actually signal is that they're primarily going to be for institutional outcomes, and it's not for individual degree types. So schools with narrow or even single program offerings, often those for-profit institutions, they're going to be the ones that are more so exposed because their outcomes are a lot more concentrated. And it's a shift in policy, right? So we're moving to this environment in which we're no longer in the space in which we're trying to say like, okay, go get this degree or this degree is bad, but we're more so trying to be in a space in which you have the information that you need to make the decision that you need to make about the schools that you're going to be going to. And so it's saying that the debt that's being taken on at this school hasn't paid off for some of the people who've already gone to this school. And that distinction, it definitely does matter. Second, why this is happening now is that the labor market has shifted faster than education systems. Degrees are no longer a reliable proxy for what workforce readiness looks like. And earnings data is being used because it's one of the few measurable signals for policymakers to make the decisions. And third, this connects to the skills first economy that we've been discussing on other episodes, where employers are asking what can candidates do, not where they went. And so companies like Google, IBM, and Apple have removed degree requirements. And let me be crystal clear, because I think that this is another conversation that's coming up. Just because companies are removing degree requirements does not mean that you should not get a degree. I still think that is very important. So here's where the tension shows up. Some low earning pathways, they are socially essential. So think teaching, caregiving, social work. So the earnings data for those types of roles doesn't capture the impact, the purpose, or the public value add that these professions bring to our society as a whole. And so there's a real risk that institutions are going to start to optimize for metrics instead of improving preparation, which is a big issue. And the last kind of call out that I have for this is that the limitation of these warning labels, right? The data is very much so backwards looking as opposed to looking at what the future is going to hold for us. We know that AI is coming in. We know that the labor market is shifting. I said that 60-something% of folks who are currently in school, we don't even know where they're going to be working, what they're going to be doing. And so it's very important for us to be thinking about those metrics, because it's going to, so like, is it actually informing people on what decisions that they should be making? Or is it helping people make the wrong types of decisions? FAFSA's new warning label system is a reminder that information matters. When students and families have clear data on cost, outcomes, and risk, they're positioned better to make the choices that align with their goals. So transparency on its own won't fix the system, but it does shift the power back to the people navigating it. I'm Mr. Jihad, and if this episode was helpful, share it with a student, a parent, or an educator who's helping someone make big decisions about their future. This might be the lens that they need before signing on that dotted line and taking on that debt that they do not fully understand yet. I was one of them. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop your thoughts in the comments. Every comment helps. Please. Do warning levels, are they going to really help students make smarter choices, or do we need a significantly deeper redesign of how we guide students to where they're trying to go? And to my Instagram fam, keep the conversation going under our latest post. I want to see where you land on this. And if you haven't already, subscribe and help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers so that this conversation can keep growing. But until then, I'm wishing you a week full of clarity, curiosity, and choices that make you move closer to where you're trying to go. Happy holidays, and see you next time.